Nice, you have the feathered edge.
Yeah.
But
if you crop it, then the feathered edge on the top.
Let's see. I wonder if you actually... Oh, I didn't do the right thing.
Drawing with guests, you
There we
made
go.
two things for some reason.
Hello.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
back.
So,
Can you make me smaller so you hear me?
Oh yeah, maybe a little bit more, right? So it's this.
I can hear you in Zoom.
that's actually good. Oh, if
Yeah.
okay. And then...
That's me. Sorry.
You might.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, apparently they can hear our voice via YouTube.
Yeah, there, now it works. Okay, we got it all set up.
Okay.
Let's start it now.
Wait, let's wait really quick.
Okay. Can they hear us?
We did the paper first time. Can you hear us? Luke? Fine. Thank you for this time. So much wisdom for this live stream.
Right.
Okay. Let's just real quick.
What?
Get into this.
We got Emery and
Okay, let's do it. Hello, everyone. Thanks
Hello.
for joining the live stream. I'm Jeshua Koipalai,
I'm Josiah Koipalai.
and today we're joined by a special guest artist, Luke Murray. Luke Murray is an incredibly talented artist, and he makes beautiful illustrations in various art forms, including 3D and watercolor, and even woodcut prints, which he's going to be showing us some of that today. I've been following Luke's art for about 2 years now, and I wanted to get a look at the behind-the-scenes process of his art, and I'm excited to do that today and have a conversation with him. And first we're going to be Luke. Thanks for joining. Luke Murray, thanks for joining the live stream. And also, if you haven't, you should follow Luke Murray on. You can find his link to his website in the description box below, and to his Patreon. And he has behind the scenes posts about his projects that he's working on there. And so make sure you check that out in the description box below. And so we're going to start working on the comic that me and Josiah are working on, and Luke will be asking us some questions about that, and also if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below.
Yeah. And then after that, we're gonna look at woodcut
So
printing project.
The first half of this we'll be working on comics.
Should we introduce the book?
From Caden and the Yak Thieves is the comic project we're working on.
It's a sort of it's like a medieval times comic about Mongolian herdsmen and some rustlers that are stealing their yaks. And it's kind of a western, actually. And should we introduce Luke's project, what it's about, like what's...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's neat.
Cool, that sounds really neat.
So, I'm gonna switch over to my drawing program. Just a second. Yeah, I have some coffee.
I got some coffee too. What about you? Okay.
I have some
Nice.
black coffee.
Oh wow. Oh cool.
Oh yeah, because
Were you at the Rabbit Room in 2020? At the Hutchmoot
Hutchmoot.
what's it called? Yeah, the Hutchmoot conference. Oh, okay. For the coronavirus.
Yep. We should probably say that we kind of I met Luke Murray like through the Rabbit Room community, because we both like a lot of the Rabbit Room like books and stuff.
Oh yeah, he's the one who made the meme with like Andrew Peterson going off to the. Is that what going off to the Hutchmoot?
Luke Murray also runs the what is it called? What is the account? Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
Can't hear Luke.
Oh, just a second. Oh dear. We better kind of go back a little bit.
Okay.
I'm muted.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys missed all our witty banter.
Okay. So
Okay.
now the audio's working.
Can you hear Luke? Can you hear him now?
Hello.
Let's see does anyone see if they can hear.
Now, can you?
Hello.
Can you hear Luke
Okay.
Murray?
I can hear myself in the playback on YouTube. So
Okay.
Good. So
Okay,
we should go back a little bit.
Yeah. So we didn't.
They didn't hear about your project, so we should
Yeah.
go back. Let's go back to that. So
Yeah.
good. So
What's the illustration project you're working on?
yeah.
It is a children's book called The Special Meal about communion.
Okay.
I'm doing it with lino cut illustrations.
Wow. That's neat.
So
And we're gonna be
wood cut. It's like, well, not wood. You're not using wood, but it's like printing, like old fashioned kind of like printing, right? Where you actually carve the thing out and put the ink on it and print it, right?
And put it through a press, yeah.
Yeah.
That's neat. And he'll be showing us some of that process in a little bit. So let me switch back over here. And so this stage that I'm on right now is after the sketch, I'm inking over it. Excuse me. So so Luke, we should also, do we say that we need to, Josiah will be looking at the comments and he'll be answering any, reading
any questions.
he'll be reading any questions that
Yeah.
that come up. So if you have any questions.
So far, it's just things like I can hear now, or
Oh, good.
so.
Thank you everyone for joining the live stream. Sorry for the
Why are you guys so bad at live
Technical.
streaming? Just those kind of questions. I'm not going to answer those ones.
so we should probably kind of introduce what's happening.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Here.
So, yes.
in this page, we have the three main characters, Caden, and over here is Batar and Ublek. They're the main characters.
Natashi.
But and the dog and the Tibetan Mastiff Tashi. But what's happening here is they're
supposed to be looking for the rustlers who stole their yaks, but they find some merchants here. They think they're the rustlers. Turns out they're just merchants, but they're getting kind of sidetracked because one of the merchants offers to give him a job as a guard to escort them, through the Mongol Empire. And Caden is like, "Come on, guys, let's get back to work," and
yeah.
But Batar always wanted to travel the world, so he's kind of considering it.
I think I'll
And
work on sketching these or inking these three guys here.
and Ublek, he's interested in food. That's kind of his motivation. So, and these merchants are spice merchants, so he's kind of getting sidetracked too. And Caden's over there trying to get them back. Yeah.
And
This is
have
happening
this-
in Siberia. The story takes place like it would be modern day Russia, but it's in the east in Siberia, in the colder regions. So there's a lot of snow, and the climate, it looks a lot like the Northwest actually. It's got like the coniferous trees, and it's cold weather, So everyone's wearing fur, and kind of clothes that they would wear like that.
So I got a few questions for you guys.
Okay.
So for this book, you guys split up the writing of the story and then the making of the comic. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So Josiah wrote the script for it, and I'm illustrating it.
I kind of like to think I call it a script because I kind of think of it like making a movie, right? Like a movie script. Since the only stuff that I do that actually gets onto the original thing is the dialogue, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of comparable to a movie, I'd say.
Yeah. So was that the early process? Was that mostly you, Josiah, coming up with the ideas and such?
Well, actually, with this one, there was a lot of collaboration. We actually are involved with each other's process to a pretty large extent. Even to the writing, Jeshua will, he'll give me ideas and stuff. He thought of a lot of it. In fact, he actually thought of the character of Ublek. So he is involved with it, and I'm involved with the drawing process to some extent. I mean, like in if there's
like the drafting,
with the
planning,
yeah,
the layout and stuff. Sometimes.
I try to like just give him the script. I write a script that has the dialogue and it has like instruction on what things look like, and I pretty much just want, he pretty much goes off of that, and it works like 90% of the time. I'm getting better at like communicating. Like the only issue is like the communicating, like, oh, I meant like this, but most of the time when I leave, I actually like to leave a lot of things to him to decide, like just to let him decide things, because a lot of times it's better than what I had in my head anyway.
Well, yeah, like, because when I read your script, you give like you write out like, this person walks over there and talks to this person, or you write kind of what the surroundings might be, like a cave or the camp,
The forest,
or
the clearing over here.
Yeah, and I can picture it pretty clearly in my mind what I want it to look like, and then
because I don't really have I don't really think about all the visual stuff, to be honest. Only sometimes. I'm kind of bad at that, like visualizing things. I only understand it when he draws it. Like then it's like, oh, it makes sense. I understand what this layout is going to look like. And so I try to like not put too much direction in it. Let it be vague enough to where, right? I try to do that, right? Like, but and then Joshua's also involved in the writing process. He'll like say, I think it should be said this way, or I think this character should say this. Like every once in a while he'll just change it. Like I'll have a character say something, and you'll change it to have a different character saying. So that's an important thing. Sometimes that's done in like in movies or audio dramas. Sometimes a director will say, why don't we have this person say this line? It makes more sense for this person to say this line. Right? We've done that a couple times.
And then, so
Joe Malloy says, epic rap battle of history, animation versus printmaking. Yeah. This has never been done in history before. This combination of two things, this cross-platform of this.
I don't know if I've seen a printmaking, someone do a comic with printmaking.
That would be cool.
Yet.
Yeah, that's probably why they didn't have comics in medieval times.
No, they did actually.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Yeah. There's a book that talks about it.
It's
Understanding
it's a good book.
comics.
You could say that hieroglyphs are
Yeah. Oh yeah.
a type of comic.
That's true. You can communicate visual things without writing, without having
It
to
really
write
depends
stuff.
on your definition of comic.
That's true. I mean, a comics, what I would think of as a comic in the modern form, I would say came out like in the 1800s, right, with the newspapers. Right? I mean, that's what I'd consider a comic, actually. I mean, you could go back and say,
They've been making comics for a long time, actually.
yeah. I mean,
Cave paintings.
you could,
Yeah.
you could consider cave paintings to be comics. That's true. I mean, there was even like this hieroglyph thing that shows a series of like a wrestling match between two people.
Wow.
And it like shows the whole match, so all the different moves, the parries and the blocks and the throws and
crazy.
stuff, such that it actually shows the whole thing. And I mean, that is basically a comic, right?
What
Yeah.
is a comic?
Yeah, that's
So this is one of the merchants that I'm drawing. And he's a Chinese merchant. And he has this hat that I've seen pictures of.
yeah. Sometimes I'll get pictures for a lot of these things. I'll look for pictures, ways that I want it to look. Sometimes Joshua will just look for what you want to, like what you think the thing should look like. You can you find it like with Ublex clothes, for instance. You found a outfit, right? You like looked at different Mongolian clothes and compiled it. And then for the merchant, you found some Chinese clothes that would be historically accurate. And you were just doing some research today, right, about pottery and stuff in the Mongol Empire.
Yeah.
That they had.
We're trying to keep the comic really accurate.
Yes, I want to make it as historically accurate as possible. So this takes place in the 13th century in Mongolia, or in the Mongol Empire, which includes Siberia and some of China and also some of the other countries west, like Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. A lot of those countries were taken over by the Mongol Empire in the Mongol invasion. And as far as I know, I think there was a kind of an early fur trade kind of going on in Siberia at that time. So I don't know who would be doing the trading, but it might not have been Chinese merchants, but there was a lot of Chinese merchants and engineers and craftsmen throughout the Mongol Empire. So I thought it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah. I think Oobleck is my favorite character to draw in this comic.
Yeah, it's funny when we made him up. We were like, we gotta make a funny kind of a comic relief character, right? Like, you make him kind of a chubby guy. And then I was like, we were like talking about the hairstyle, and Jeff said, "Oh, make him have that. He's gonna have that that hair in the front like this. Maybe you should show, is there a picture of it, like what his hair looks like?"
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Let me find one of them where he's not wearing the hat.
So this is a real Mongolian hairstyle. It's just a little. It's just bangs in the front with no other hair, just completely shaved.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, yeah.
Where's one with?
Just
There.
bangs or
Yes.
shaved.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it's just
like
bangs.
this.
It's like the mirror image of a monk, kind of.
Right.
Mm.
Exactly. Because the monk has the hair on the sides, right? But it's just the opposite.
So it's like that. His hair.
You know, you can still see this haircut in Russia today. People will have it. It's so funny. So and then I said, okay, and then he's got to have this. He's got to have a mustache, but just not over here, not on the lips at all, just on the side. Because it's just the most lame-looking mustache ever.
And then
yeah, you
and then
decided
the
about that.
facial hair on his cheeks.
Yeah, he looked too babyish without it. So we gave him some
It makes him look a little
facial hair
more.
over here where he doesn't
handsome.
bother to shave it. Yeah, yeah, and all those features have made a very handsome person. I think turned out quite handsome actually.
Jeshua, for this comic, you're doing it digital now, but you've incorporated a mix of traditional in the process
Yeah.
as well. Is that right?
Yeah. So, could you get the clipboard right
Yeah.
there? So, once I had the script, I actually put it into all the speech bubbles.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Let me see if I can.
Oh, that's right. So the first thing he did was he took the script, just copy pasted and printed out these bubbles, right?
Yeah, I put all these speech bubbles into the page, and then I printed out a bunch of all the pages of the comic, and then so this is the whole all the comic drafted out on like 2 pages per sheet. I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but I'll actually pull it up on here. So this is
That's like the finished product, right? That's after.
yeah. So here's a
So is this the actual physical drawing you drew it with pencil and then turned it into?
yeah.
Okay, you turned it blue.
Yeah.
That's
So
just to distinguish when you're inking it from the final inking and the.
yeah. So what I
previous
did
step.
was this is the sketch,
Yeah.
and I scanned it into the computer, and then
And so
What I do-
you did the whole book like this, right? Already,
Mhm.
it's already sketched out like this.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that and then after I do this layer, I kind of sketch over it to fix some things and clean things up a little bit, and then I ink over it. So yeah, that made it a lot faster to get the whole thing drafted out, so I know.
You know, I was just thinking about, you're talking about like what's the cooperation between the writer and the artist. I think the artist does kind of have final say about things. Like if Joshua just doesn't want, if I want him to draw something and he just doesn't want to draw it, he
Well,
kind of
that
has the veto power. He can
That's right.
shut it down. Like he won't draw something that he absolutely doesn't want to draw.
Has that happened ever?
It's going to happen soon, but
Okay.
Yeshua, have you unionized yet?
Do I have the right? See, I have
I actually,
the final right to own this. He's
well,
my
I'll have
intellectual
to sue
property.
you, I guess,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, things might start happening. We'll see. It hasn't got to that yet, but. But I mean, like it's the same thing with like writers and directors. Like there's some I've heard of situations where a director just won't do something in their script. Like I've got to stop this now. I'm gonna change this. You can't stop me. And
or like the actors don't want to.
yeah, or
Say
the
a certain
actors
thing.
won't do some performance or say some line or something. They'll say like I just won't do this.
Yeah.
It says so. Let's see. Tiker Philly said, "Speak up, Murray. You're soft spoken."
Is there any way you guys can turn me up a little bit?
Yeah.
Side?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Thank you, Phillips.
That should be
It's
better.
my roommate from years ago.
Um,
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Let's see if I can. Is
Should we turn us down a little bit?
That should be better.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And I think we'll.
And also, I'll listen to suggestions of people. You know, like I always listen to people's ideas, like everyone's ideas. You know, you should never just shut yourself in and just do your own thing. You know, you should. Whenever someone gives me a suggestion, I seriously consider it, because people wouldn't say something if they don't think it's an important thing. You know.
So I'm about finished with Oobleck. I didn't get to. I was hoping to do some color today, but
Yeah, that's what we originally wanted to do, right? Show coloring,
mhm.
and then after that, there's shadowing too, drawing the shadows in. So if you're gonna do this on paper, how are you gonna shadow it? That's what I'm wondering.
You would use darker colors.
You just
Um,
use
Layer it.
Yeah,
you can layer it. Like you can
use like if it's a red thing, then
you put like
use
a darker
red.
scarletish kind of red over it.
Yeah.
I don't know if scarlet's the right color, but
A little bit of blue too to desaturate it.
Yeah,
oh wow.
or you could just use a purple, just
Oh.
over all the color, like for all the shadows, or
Oh,
a blue. Yeah.
Would it kind of see through the? Would it kind of get some of the color under it? Kind of.
Yeah.
It would kind of reflect. I mean,
Hmm.
you would go through it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're
Yes,
thinking
but
about
if you-
doing that.
If you were to do a full comic traditionally,
Mm-hmm.
what would you use for medium for coloring? Right now,
I like markers, like alcohol markers. They blend pretty nice.
Yeah. You had like 50 colors or something, and you were able to like do everything in this. You were able to color like all the colors that you needed, right?
Mhm.
For this one, like for one scene. Like I remember you drew Caden, I think it was,
Mhm.
and you just had those colors, and you had everything you need, right? That
Mhm.
I think that's a good idea. Like I remember when Jeshua first got into digital, I was thinking like, yeah, I don't know why anyone ever does real colors, but I don't know. It looks really good.
Yeah,
Actually.
I like how physical, like traditional art,
Uh-huh.
like everything from how it looks when it's finished to the whole process of.
Yeah.
It's way more fun to actually
And it's
do
not
it.
completely traditional, right? Because you could copy the ink. You would like
So
ink
there-
it and then copy that, right?
There's the.
So you had multiple shots at it, right?
Mhm.
You ink it and then put in a copier and then copy that out and print it.
So now we'll switch over to you, Luke.
cool.
Oh,
Oh yeah, first.
So should we
Would-
say that you can see the rest of the comic? We should probably mention.
Oh yeah.
You-
If you want to see more of the Caden and the Yak Thieves comic, you can find the link to the website walbycomics.com in the description box.
You can see 11 more pages. You can see the first 11 pages of the comic. Yeah.
And well, let's switch over here. There we go. So, Luke
What are
Murray.
we seeing? Hello, I'm here.
Yep.
Very big. Okay.
Thanks for.
What do you want?
Yeah, thanks so much for joining the live stream. We're
It's a-
we're really excited to see the project you're working on, and it's really interesting, and I have some questions about it. So
Great.
So he has to switch to
also,
his...
yeah, I followed you as you worked on a few different projects over the years, and one of them was the a children's book called.
Oh, do you have that?
I do.
Because I forgot to grab it.
Okay.
Oh, and Anne Murray says, no relation of Luke Murray, but I don't know who is it. I don't know who's Anne Murray. Very talented. How many years have you been making comics, Mr. Jeshua?
Let me see.
Or maybe it's for Luke. How many years have you been making comics, Luke?
Yeah.
I started. I think I posted like my first comic. I don't know, maybe like a year ago today.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Not today, but like a year ago.
Okay. What about you, Jeshua?
Let's see. Probably since I was like 5.
You've been making Walby, your character. We should probably mention here.
Or no, probably since I was like. Oh yeah, I guess like when I was like 10.
Yeah.
Probably started making comics.
And you started making Walby, your character.
Yeah,
your
that's
other character.
When I was 10 years old, I made up Walby.
You have the book there?
Uh,
And
Oh, this book is so good.
let's see. Oh, there's one.
Someone is sliding my children's book under the door. Thank you.
Yeah, so this book I made Walby's Road Trip Adventure last year.
closer. Yeah, so this is a sort of a story about a road trip across the country with this little comical character named Walby and his dog.
There we go.
Okay. So when it connects back in, we'll say sorry for the technical. Okay.
Oh, nice. We're back in the Zoom. No, just. Oh dear.
What?
Oh, I disconnected the.
Huh? Oh, you disconnected OBS? Did you just send them the link again?
Yeah. Oh, there, it's connecting again. Mm-hmm.
I guess we're back live, right? So they can hear us. Can they?
Okay, just a second. Let me connect. Let me just transition back into. Okay, we're back.
Sorry about that.
Alright, we
We had
should
a little
be.
technical difficulty. Zoom
Is it working
disconnected.
now?
Can everyone hear us?
It should be working now.
Yeah.
And, sorry, Luke, you are muted, but I turned your audio back on.
Pardon me.
So,
What were we saying? Where were we
Yeah.
talking about the?
Your
Wood-
the last book that you illustrated.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Um,
Yes. It's called My Family Loves to Eat Together. And it's written by Felicia Masonheimer. And it's with my kind of 3D rendering style. So I'm going to switch to Photoshop because I got a few spreads pulled up there, so that should look better.
oh yeah.
There we go. Hello, can you see that?
Yes.
Great. Where's my thing? So yeah, this is a few of the spreads from that.
Whoa. That looks beautiful.
Yeah,
That's a really neat art style, actually.
it is. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want to move away from it right now because it looks it's somewhat like the AI stuff that's coming out. That's kind of like looks photoreal. So I wanted to go for a more traditional look in my work. So
I don't know. It looks like computer animated, but all at the same time, it also looks like it's painted almost. Or something. It looks really. It doesn't just look like a.
It definitely has you have a unique style to it.
Yeah.
Like, that you.
That's so cool.
appreciate that. Jeshua, I know you put like some Easter eggs in your work occasionally. There is like this one rabbit room mug on this table.
That's so neat.
I don't think anyone noticed.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
So
some other work that I've done
wow.
is this. This is called a reductive print. So it's done with one block, and you carve away layers of it, and you print those layers onto the same piece of paper.
Oh, that's so neat.
so was
So did you make
was this
multiple?
all? Yeah. So was this done with multiple blocks or?
No, it's one block, but you carve away. You
Correct.
Okay.
carve it down and then keep printing it over the same. So you could do it with. You could still do it with multiple proofs, right? You just have to do the first layer with all of them, and then the next layer with all of them.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you start off with the blue layer, and I carved initially what was going to be white, and then I carved the gray layer. So what I was carving was going to be show up as blue, and then purple, and then black as the final thing.
okay.
So I still have the large block of linoleum.
wow.
Still, I can show you guys later, but it's just the
Be
black layer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
That's so cool.
And talk a little bit more about process.
So
Like anything, it starts off with thumbnail sketches. So this is a piece that I did called Get Lost. Technically it's for class, but so I start off with thumbnail sketches and then a full sketch. And then I did that again on the wooden block.
wow. Wow, that's so neat.
I do a lot of, it's not very efficient, my current process, because I'm drawing the same almost full scale thing like 3 times before I actually carve it.
Oh, okay.
And so
Why is that?
I see on that last picture, there was a pin next to it, and so
This one?
that's a pretty big block.
Yeah. Wow.
oh yeah,
So how long did that take?
it took me a few weeks,
Wow.
but I wasn't like doing it every day. This is like maybe 6 to
I
8
don't
hours a
understand
week.
why you had to draw it. What do you mean you had
Well-
to draw it 3 times, 4 times?
So I do full scale sketch to make sure it works on paper,
Okay.
and then I did the sketch in pencil on the wood to make sure it's how I want it, and then I ink it.
So
So I'm
that's
kind of
after
doing
the
when
whole.
you draw the sketch on the vine on the linoleum, you're not like there's no tracing or anything. It's just drawing from looking at the paper to.
I probably could,
Uh-huh.
but I just didn't.
Yeah.
I haven't
There's no.
haven't figured that out
I
yet.
don't know how you would do that. Yeah.
I think I was. I don't think I was listening that day in printmaking class. Unfortunately, don't tell my teacher. But yeah, so then I carve it, and then after it's carved,
So
you
that's
can
during the process of carving it.
yes. You can see a little bit of wood over here.
Wow.
And then you can do as many prints as you want. So
That's so cool.
I've got a
Neat.
print here so you can see for scale.
Wow.
But this one I was very happy with.
Could you hold it up to the camera? The
I can, yes. It's this one. It's I don't know
wow.
how if there's any glare.
Wow, that's
but
so neat.
We can see it. It's good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it's a boy in a library.
That's really beautiful.
yeah.
Love that.
It was kind of supposed to be like I forget the original inspiration for it. What was it? It's kind of like this world was coming in, but it kind of looks like a treehouse, which is totally fine. It works. So,
There's a lot of detail in it, right? All the books on the ground.
yeah.
So, and then the project that you're working on now is it's a book about communion.
Yeah, and kind of both the history of communion and what it means to the church today.
Wow. It's neat.
That's really neat for kids. Because that's something that kids always wondering about, communion, what it's
It's neat.
for sure.
Yeah, is it
all
is it
little
just a
kids
snack
want
that we take during a church
Yeah.
or yeah.
The deeper
So.
meaning of it.
Uh-huh.
So, and let's see. Do you, and you're working on one of the wood blocks, one of the prints now?
Yeah, so this is the thumbnail sketch for the block I'll be doing today.
Okay.
A little bit of
So you did a few thumbnail layouts to plan how it was going to work. Is that could you zoom in a little bit to?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
So
neat.
these were done in Procreate on my iPad.
Okay.
Just quickly knocking them out.
Wow.
And then I did kind of a sketch.
These are 3 different ones that you did,
Yes.
and you have the final the final one is the middle one, or
That's the one that I liked the most, but
So
it
where
actually I'm
what-
kind of doing the more this one actually.
okay.
Well, I was wondering, what when you before you did the writer give you like a what to draw, like how do you know what to draw? Was it like a sketch, or was there just explanation on what to draw, or did you come up with these illustrations completely?
So I was given both the text of what was written by a fellow named Eric Novak, who's also the creative director. And I was given like 1-2 sentences of direction. So for this one,
okay.
it's early Christians underground in catacombs taking communion. That's very, very general. You could
Yeah,
go
right.
like 100 different ways with that.
Exactly.
So it was kind of up to me to kind of figure that out.
I see.
So this is the sketch that I landed on. For the spread,
Oh,
this
that's
could be on
neat.
one page, and other page could be the text with maybe a little bit of a graphic on that.
Okay.
So
And how many of these woodcuts are you doing?
like 9,
Okay.
8 in one cover.
Okay.
So do you think we should go to the thing now, or is there another step?
We can transition. This is basically it. So I can transition
neat.
now.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. I'll move my.
So now what do you draw onto the linoleum with? Is it with pencil also, or is it with some kind of ink?
Just pencil and ink.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a mix of just random.
So first you
pens I
first
have.
You sketch it with pencil onto the
Oh, okay. Right. Is that
the
what-
block, and then
Yeah.
you ink
Okay,
it.
I see that now. Ink and
And when it has a blue tint to it, does that change when you carve it?
It does. So the blue is a little bit of kind of like it's just acrylic paint to stain, so I can actually see what I'm carving. Because
Okay.
if it's the same color all the way down.
Yeah.
So I can see what's been carved up already,
Ah.
makes sense.
and what's left.
So did you paint it?
He paint you.
Yes,
They don't
yes.
come paint, right? You paint them yourself.
Oh.
I just paint. It's just
Okay.
acrylic and paper towel.
Wow. So, what are the tools that you're using?
So this is called a linoleum tool, I think.
Okay.
Stephen Krotz can sue me if I'm wrong. Uh, and it comes with all these kind of these different bits. This is like a cheap option.
Mm-hmm.
The real professionals have like a whole selection of like just individual tools
Right.
that are like nice, sharp. Um, but this is what we got for today.
Those would be used more for cutting for wood, right? You would need really fancy tools, but this is just linoleum, right?
Yeah, you can cut wood with this. I've done the whole Get Lost print was with that.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and ideally you want to cut away from you. I've got this bench hook here that I use to help kind of push. And the linoleum kind of just comes up nice and easy.
Wow.
That's so neat.
So what I'm
And-
carving will in the end be white. So you, unlike most kind of illustration methods, drawing and such, you're adding value. You're adding black, adding color. But with printmaking, you're taking away. So you're
Yeah.
creating white. So you kind of have to just kind of flip that.
That's interesting.
It's a mindset shift.
Yeah. So, what about? Oh, we
So you-
about his what his favorite?
But yeah, do you? Yeah, you're.
I've got a few slides of inspiration if you
Okay.
want to do that.
Well, why don't we do some of this first? Right. Let's
Yeah, well, wait, I have some questions about. Like,
Okay.
So, you had the um the author gave you the book, and then you read through it all, and how did you what is that process like? Did you you got to choose what like how many illustrations to do? Or,
No, I
Okay.
I was given estimate like the pages
Mm-hmm.
that it was going to be, and actually for this book, because it's about communion and I think it's really important, I had to took me a little bit to like read it. Like, is this something I really want to do? And so that was a little bit longer as opposed to like something that was like Jerry's day at the playground.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
don't think about one too hard. So,
That's neat.
Yeah. That's,
So, what are like some things that the book covers? I mean, like, I know it's about communion, and is it, what are some of the history things? Because that probably relates to what the pieces that you're going to be working on, right?
yeah. So it touches Last Supper. Christ commanding us to eat and drink in remembrance of Him. So I've one spread. Actually, I can do that right now. This is a test print of that.
Wow. Oh, I love that one.
And yeah, this is
looks good.
I love how
really
much
pleased how this-
like how much the inked in parts of it, like
Yeah.
that's
And
really
all
cool.
that wood on the table. If you could get that wood grain look, that would be amazing. You know, if you can get that on print, you know.
Oh, this stuff.
Yeah.
That's that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
print.
I know. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But this is a print that's finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
Oh wow, this looks really good.
I have the blocks here. They look nasty because they've been cleaned up. But this is the block.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's the mirror image.
Oh yeah.
So
I didn't
you have
think
to be
about
thinking.
that.
You have to think about that. So whatever text you want to do.
Wow.
The first block I ever did was a rabbit room
good.
logo because I'm predictable. But when I started doing it, this is not it. But I started doing it wrong. I started doing the mirror image of it.
Oh.
And so I'm like, oh, so I labeled that block the block of shame, and I have that somewhere. But
I'm sure Gutenberg had one of those somewhere in his print cups.
the first one he ever did.
Yeah.
Oh, got it wrong. I can show you this other one. So I'll be posting these on my Patreon
Oh, that looks
for
so
those who
good.
want to follow along. So yeah, this is talking about communion in the church today,
Wow.
Oh, that's neat.
and this is the second spread.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
There's a few cleanup things I want to do here, but it kind of looks like there's fire coming outside the window, but that's a bush.
Yeah.
It's like a bush.
I can tell. But that wood grain pattern looks really cool. I like how you did that.
Yeah, it's supposed to look like cloth, but
No, I'm talking about on the
this
previous
one?
picture.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
So, this is a different print this is like one of the first ones I did. Similar kind of wood grain pattern.
Wow.
Okay.
Which is kind of easy to do with carving because it's just the natural.
Oh yeah, it's
kinda
not. It's
shape.
easy to do it with wood, right? Because the wood just makes its own wood grain pattern, right?
No, because it's basically I think it's kind of like if you see the white where it's been cut, it's just like you have that natural taper
Okay.
to your cuts.
So
blade.
So
yeah, so you didn't have to plan all that. What each
No,
grain did. Okay.
that was
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Um,
Have you done something with wood? You've done it with wood before, right? But it was with plywood.
Yeah, I have that block right here. It's like a magic trick. So this is the block.
Okay.
It looks nothing like
Right.
it did in the picture earlier because
Yeah.
it is soaked in ink.
Yeah, I can kind of see it. Yeah, I can kind of see it.
So it's just like it's a piece of plywood.
Yeah.
It's got this shellac finish. It's called. It's
okay.
help kind of keep the moisture out. So it tends to warp.
You do that
After-
before you put the ink on, or after?
Correct. Because afterwards it'll bend
Oh, okay.
like the Dickens.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, and
I've
then
seen
you can't print with that anymore, right? Because it won't go straight
No.
on the paper.
one of my classmates. Apologies if he's listening. He didn't shellac it on the backside, so it just completely bent. And they had to perform surgery on it. Just like I think they had to cut it and glue it back together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's no way to like heat it up again or something and
No.
bend it
no,
back.
was-
Wow, there's a lot you have to think about.
yeah.
So, do you have a way of storing these now, or are they kind of single use?
They're not single use. I
mean,
don't have
after
any
you-
like.
Yeah. These won't deform, right? These linoleum
No,
ones.
the linoleum ones are great.
Okay.
They're not as like hardy as the wood. But you can carry them around, and they'll be just fine.
Are you using a V chisel? A V.
Yeah, you can't really see it here, but it's just kind of a V chisel. There's ones that are more like a U for larger areas.
Okay. I can
there's
see
this
that.
really-
pattern.
Yeah. So
that's neat.
right now you have kind of a thin blade that
Yeah.
you're going around edges, and right now you're working on details, right?
Yeah.
That's neat.
A lot of times I do like the kind of exterior, like the outlines, and then I'll go in larger areas and just do those all at once. Yeah.
So, and then you have like something sketched in there, like in the background. Are you gonna be?
Yeah, so for this one, it's kind of going to be mostly dark, and my plan is to have this background be black, similar to this spread, and then have the outline of the
Oh,
window.
that's neat.
It's supposed to be like a stained glass window.
Yeah, yeah.
Have the outline of the window, and then have like edges carved in white, so it kind of looks like they're somewhat highlighted of these bricks back here,
Yeah.
stones.
Okay.
Didn't have that kind of brick in ancient Rome.
That's gonna look
Right.
neat.
Where are the catacombs?
Rome, I think.
Okay.
Someone in the comments, please fact check me on my poor knowledge of church history.
I mean, I thought I'd ask you some questions about the catacombs, but maybe.
I know what they look like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what if some stuff you've learned from from this process, like mistakes and stuff, like, from like trial and error, that you didn't learn in the class, like the things you learned on your own? or is that most of it?
Don't go on a live stream where you don't know anything about the catacombs.
Okay.
Um, kidding. Um, stuff I've learned. I think a lot of stuff that was kind of learned in the class was learned on our own.
Okay.
There's only so much instruction you can give.
Mhm.
It's most of it's on you to take the initiative and do the work. And so,
So, you know, one thing that's I think it's interesting, like when I'm doing one kind of art form for a long time, like just drawing digitally a lot, and then I switch over to like I try to paint something in acrylic. It's really like it really kind of opens doors of creativity, and it just makes me really excited about art again. And I think any trying new art forms really can, I don't know, just it really makes things more interesting and kind of help, but then when you go back to another type of art, you're better at that. So
yeah,
was this, I've never tried this, but was that, did you experience something like that for you?
100%. I found that a lot can be gained through learning drawing, and that translates into printmaking very well.
Oh, okay.
I think drawing in general has just so many benefits in the illustration world and in life, I guess I would say. But I did an oil painting class in the spring, and I had to unlearn everything I thought I knew about painting from watercolor, because the process is completely different. You have to think about colors completely differently. So that was a ton of fun.
And then something like this, where it takes lots of time, and you spend a lot more time on it than just like an ink drawing on paper. It kind of makes you more appreciate the, and spending more time on it. And then also the different characteristics that this kind of the wood block and cutting it with the blade and stuff, it has its own uniqueness to it.
So I'm wondering about the rocks. Are you gonna chisel away at the rocks or the lines between the rocks? What are you gonna do?
Probably the lines on the
Okay.
the edges of the rocks. What would be highlighted in something like
So the
candlelight?
rocks would stick out to some amount. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're gonna be
This will be black back here.
okay, and their faces will be so that's gonna be black. The stuff that you're carving away. Oh, let me think about this here. Oh, so yeah, okay, that's right. So you're gonna carve away at inside their faces, and then the stuff around it. Okay. So the black is the stuff you're gonna see. That does sound very gross, but
graphic. Yeah, it's carving away at their faces. No.
Yeah. So the black is the stuff you're gonna see. That is one good thing about it. Like, you can see what it's gonna look like right now, only reversed.
To some degree, yes.
Yeah.
There's always this kind of little bit of mystery of stuff that gets picked up or doesn't get picked up.
Oh, okay.
When you ink it.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I've heard about that with the wood. Like, there's this little grain pattern that sticks out sometimes. These little ridges that you don't even see. And then, but is this soft? So that it's not soft, right? Like an ink, it's still hard, right? It's
fresh linoleum is actually pretty soft.
So when you print it,
the stuff is really brittle. So,
it's soft to carve, but it's firm. It doesn't press against. It doesn't when you put it in use a printer, right? Like a printing kind of a thing that.
Yeah, like a big press. I should have photos of that, but I don't right now.
So in Murray, there are catacombs under many major cities around the world, used for religious purposes, especially burial. Okay.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah. There is a little bit of the slightest amount of squish you can get, but it doesn't like it's nothing major.
Yeah. So you can kind of, it kind of doesn't matter how deep how you carve into it, right? Because that's one kind of good thing about it.
It does.
It does.
Because if you do a little bit of carving, that could still get ink.
A little bit of ink on it. Okay.
Yeah, so you have to kind of be careful.
So even
About that.
in this layer that you're doing right now, you're probably gonna have to go over it and make it deeper.
Not right now, but if I'm using something very small like this bit,
Oh.
I kind of have to go down a little bit more.
What's the funner part? Like the covering the edges, or or taking large amounts out.
Large amounts. It's I have to think it's so much less stressful.
Yeah.
Because like when you're doing faces, like that's like the most important part.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Like how do you
got
get those razor thin lines? I mean, like.
I don't know. I'm delusional with the hair. That's more like kind of like a reference for me, and I won't do
okay.
exactly this.
Just the texture that
Yeah,
that needs
like
to be
for this dude's hair, this is not what I had on the ink, and you can do kind of this process where you take paper and just do a rubbing with a pencil to get an idea of what the print will look like while you're carving it. So that helps with like doing slight alterations on the
Do you
fly.
think you could zoom your camera in a little bit closer of
I can.
the print?
Whoa, fancy.
Oh, that looks so neat with the white, showing up.
Yeah.
That's so cool. But those are really thin lines. Wouldn't it break or something? Like, does it hold up very well?
Like this?
Yeah,
Or
with those razor thin lines, like for the clothes and the sleeves and like the people's features.
these tend to hold up.
The thin lines are going to be the what will the thinnest lines be? Will they be the rocks and back?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Would the rocks and back be the thinnest lines?
With the back, just think about that inverted. So that's kind of.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So this part's kind of what's drawn is probably gonna be more white.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's just kind of.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wait, really? Wait, what's drawn is gonna be more black because you're gonna. Okay, so wait, what? But that's the opposite.
This is kind of like in math class when they like show your work, but your work doesn't make any sense. But it makes sense to me because I know what I want to do.
So you're not
but-
going to carve away all the rocks. You're just going to.
Do kind of I'm gonna carve these lines.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Where's that spread? Or this
Just a second.
this spread over here. These rocks. I will carve the insides of the rocks.
Oh, that's neat. That's neat.
Because I tried doing kind of the lines over here, and it looks really weird.
Like you try doing it the opposite way, or
Yeah, like here. If you can see this, that just it looks kind of weird.
oh, okay.
But yeah,
Wow.
I'm looking forward to that spread.
Yeah, there's a lot of wider open places. That's more fun, right?
Yeah. Also, just like some illustration.
Oh,
I
what's
get more.
gonna be in that big blank spot? Is there gonna be some text there or something?
Yeah, text. It's got to go somewhere. Jeshua, do you ever get like more excited about some pages than others?
Oh, yeah,
Like-
definitely.
Yeah. So that's kind of. I'm way more excited about that spread than one where it's just Jesus. Not that Jesus isn't cool, but like, it's people have been doing portraits of Jesus for millennia.
This one where was it tricky to do more people in this one?
This one, like as far as like idea creation or
Like putting it together, the layout, and
this one was kind of it was fine because I'd done the thumbnails, and it felt like it was working in the thumbnails. So if it doesn't work in the thumbnails, it's not going to work when it's bigger.
Yeah.
Did you have to do like research for this to look at pictures of the catacombs
Yeah,
and stuff?
yeah. Pinterest all the way.
Did they have candles back then, or did they just use?
I think so.
Okay. Like, when would this be set in? Like early medieval times, or
First century.
okay?
Fact checking is real.
I could check that. I could.
Please do. If I'm wrong, I can't change it. So
That's okay.
like, how else am I gonna have light? These
had
kids
the
when
Always have candles.
the kids when they're reading the book, they'll be like,
Yeah.
"This guy doesn't know what he's doing." Seriously, Mom, return it to the seller, please. Write a bad review. So,
Wow.
do we want to do a little bit of transition into inspiration work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
First, so, what is kind of like the
Yeah, they had candles
book.
back then.
what is the book talking about, like on this part here, like?
Yeah. So on this part, the text is, we call the special food the Lord's Supper or communion, and all Christians since the beginning of the church hundreds of years ago take part in it. The bread and wine are special because Jesus is the only one who gave them to us, is the one who gave them to us.
Wow. It's neat. Does it, is there a, and then for the picture with, of Jesus, the Lord's Supper print, does that have like will that have the text of the Lord's Supper?
That page, I don't know how much I can share, but
Oh, okay.
let me pull up. I don't know from memory the text. I'm pulling it up now. Special meal. That's spread 3. No, spread 4. Yeah, it's just the verse.
Okay, that's
This
neat.
bread is my body, which is for you. Yeah, classic. Stick to the
Yeah,
works.
that's gonna be a really cool book.
Thank you.
Is that,
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, when do you think it'll be coming out?
It is. It's has to be done early August, and I think it'll be coming out in their fall kind of
Okay.
shop release.
Oh, that's
So
neat. Wow.
be on the lookout for that
Yeah,
October.
yeah.
I just realized the
Yeah.
Bible mentions candles, so of course they had candles in the first century.
Yeah,
Where does it
I-
mention?
It does.
I just-
It mentions the
Oh yeah, the
the
in the
bride
temple, right?
bridesmaids waiting for they had candles.
Yeah.
They had to trim.
or it's a lamp
they
hidden under a
lamps?
basket.
Yeah, so that would be a candle, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I just saw this film called Jesus, a Deaf Missions film. It was all in American Sign Language, and they had candles in that. So I was like, okay, that's
Yeah. Okay.
that,
Because I was even
That was-
wondering if I could put candles in my comic thing. Like it's in the 12th century, so I think they did have candles back then. Like people
they
have torches.
definitely had candles back then.
Like otherwise, I'd have torches all the time, and I know torches are not convenient.
Did they
'cause they're
invent
just
fire
super
back
bright.
then?
They had fire. Yeah.
They have wood, or were bees around?
But it's
They
still just
invented. Yeah.
So, what are your artist inspirations?
Artist inspirations. Well, if any of y'all follow the Rabbit Room, these will be kind of familiar. But for printmaking, there's 2 guys. One fellow, Ned Bustard. He's done such things as the Every Moment Holy.
oh yeah.
Yeah, they're all line cut illustrations. And the other fellow, Stephen Krotz, he does a mix of digital and lino cut and wood block. So these 2, these are digital.
I know that
And
"Behold the Lamb of God," Andrew Peterson's Christmas album.
It's
Could you
digital?
zoom into that one?
yes, I can.
What? Wait, so this is digital? What is
This-
digital?
The
This is
color?
digital.
The coloring is digital, or is it?
No, all of it.
Okay.
I believe.
So it's
I
like
believe.
it's in the style of woodcut.
Yes, and I think the process is similar to kind of similar to woodblock in the way that he's kind of carving digitally.
But can you do other colors other than just black and white with woodcut printing? Could you print like on
can.
that? You can do
So
that.
you would paint certain parts of it.
Yes, but it's incredibly inefficient and not as fast.
Right. But what about like on like this the one above this one? It was like the yeah. So can you print like yellow onto like a green onto a green paper?
You would
Something?
yeah, you could totally do that.
Okay.
I think for him, it's just a lot of it's just like you need to get it done fast.
That
so
looks so good. That looks
this
amazing.
is this is a print, and this is
Yeah.
beautiful. This is For Every Moment Holy, Volume 3.
Oh, I haven't looked at the pictures in that. I'll have to go.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
I didn't know there was woodcut printing in it. That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
And then, for this one, what do you think about like how are you gonna do the colors? Are you
For
gonna do
colors,
in your
I'm thinking about doing colors. And it would be the kind of thing where I scan it, take photos of the prints, and then bring those into Photoshop, and then add color that way.
That's neat.
And then the last guy, there's plenty of people who I find inspiration from, but notably John Hendricks. It was his book, Drawing is Magic, that like first got me into carrying a sketchbook everywhere and kind of understanding the art of drawing. So I owe a lot to him. And his illustrations are just like, they're just so full of imagination. This is Bonhoeffer in his prison, and
That's
He has
beautiful.
the
Yeah.
Bonhoeffer biography graphic
Oh.
novel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen that. I don't think I've read the whole thing, but is that's done with wood cut printing or that's
this is just drawing.
oh this is just drawing. Okay. So this is
Yeah.
inspiration.
Yeah, general inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah.
John Hendricks, he's great.
Yeah. I didn't think that looked like woodcut printing. That looks
No, that'd be
really.
insane.
yeah. But that's neat.
Yeah,
I can kind of see the inspiration coming from that. Yeah. I can see it in your drawings.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Wow.
So
So, I think we'll.
Where when will the book be available and how can people get it? Is that
You said like around fall, maybe.
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
And also remember,
I don't think did you say
if you-
where you can get it? I don't think they heard. I think it was the microphone was off when.
oh well, probably if people wanted to get the book, then they should follow you on your social media, right? You'll have announcements about it.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And people should totally follow you on Instagram, on Patreon. It's
Thank
well
you.
worth it.
Oh, and yeah, and Luke Murray's Patreon is in the description box below, and I definitely recommend you following him to see the process of his illustrations and the behind the scenes stuff. So, Luke Murray, thank you so much for joining
Thank you
and
for having me.
for spending this time with us, and yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, we've been talking about collaborating on stuff, so
Yeah,
hopefully,
Mhm.
hopefully we can follow through on that.
Nice.
yeah. So, and thank you everyone for joining the live stream, and
Hope you enjoyed it.
yeah, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye. Wow. It says 32 people.